Peace. Mind Ascension here. Peace to my 6 to 22 strand, 7 to 9 ether, you melanin, selenium base, black gods of this planet. Pardon the lighting, y'all, but you know, that's one of the reasons I kind of hesitate to do a lot of videos indoors. 2 reasons: I hate having to put clothes on to do a goddamn video. Number 2, I can't stand having a lot of light. Anybody that knows me, I stay in the dark a lot. So please pardon the lighting, but I'm really not in the mood to have a big ass light over my head and all this lighting. So, you know, I was attempting to use a setting to make the screen brighter, but couldn't find it. So please bear with me on this lighting, family. But I had to do this because my drunk ass prior did a Traits of Divinity video, part 1. And as I always study myself, because that's what I do, we need to study ourselves. We need to recognize what we do and what we don't do, what we are and what we're not, and not just go by how we only feel based on an outside or surface perspective. But I always study my own videos. I always study what I say. I study my own work. And I noticed I ain't getting nowhere to that list that the spirit came upon me to make. So I'm doing this part 2, sober like a motherfucker. I'm doing this part 2 right now for y'all, and I want to get straight into it. The traits of divinity. There are so many things that we as beings and then other humans display that are connected to a divine mind and divine existence. Peace, King. Knowledge, understanding, noble guidance. JX. Peace, brother. You know, and if we're not told what these things are, we can't recognize them for what they are. I'm in class right now, but I'm watching. Brother, just you chiming in and being here is more than enough, good brother. I appreciate you, man. There are traits that we display that we don't realize is connected to a divine understanding, a divine lifestyle, and a divine behavior. I wish there was captions on this. Captions? Okay. But yes. So I just want to get to those traits. I'm not going to waste no more time. Now, before we got into the enjoy being naked thing. Now, me, myself, when I'm in my house, it bothers me so much that when I make these videos, and that's why I'm a little reluctant to make videos in the house. That's why a lot of times y'all see me out and about, because when I'm in my house and then I have to put clothes on to make a video, you know, it's kind of like, it makes me feel reluctant to do it. But your nudity is your connection to your nature and your design. Because if you notice, when you're nude and you're naked, it's displaying the full aspect of what you are designed for and what your design is. Now, as we already know, indigenous tribes, as we already know, are ancients, and so they wore very, very, very little clothing. Very, very, very little clothing. So unless you are in an atmosphere or in an environment where you need to shelter and protect your skin constantly, other than that, we were not modest about our bodies. We weren't judgmental about our bodies. So we didn't wear a lot of clothes. And that's another thing connected. And then once again, remember, the child is the closest thing to God. If you notice, children don't give a fuck about wearing no damn clothes. If you let them, they'll be naked all goddamn day and they won't care, because they're not judging each other. They're not judging how fine or sexy they are. They're not doing that. All of these are the levels of egos and blockages and vanities that come later in life that we accumulate through the expectations of the societies that we live in. But anyway, I went into this the last video. Number 1 is nakedness. If you enjoy being naked, if you're comfortable being naked, that's a trait of a connection to divine state and divine behavior and divine mind. Very little vices. There's a lot of us that there's a lot of humans that need a lot of shit. They need their smoke, they need their drink, they need their snacks, they need their food, they need their coffee, they need their, like, when you think about your coworkers and family members, and they're always like, oh man, well, I'm fucked up today because I missed breakfast, or I'm fucked up today, I didn't have my coffee, or I'm fucked up, I didn't have my cigarette, or I'm fucked up, I didn't have my blunt and my weed, I'm fucked up, I didn't have my drink, I'm fucked up, I didn't have this, I didn't take my medication, I didn't take my vitamins, the more you need, the less you are. And some of us have a hard time dealing with that because we think needing a bunch of shit is normal, but it's not. The more you need to project some type of value to the world of yourself. That's why if you notice mine ascension, I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear, and I'm not judging that. It's just for some strange reason, I can't resonate with anything that I see to wear. And then even when I try to wear shit, it disappears. It doesn't last long on my body. A lot of things don't last long on my body when I try. And it's the human part of me that wants to go, yo, I want an Ankh ring, or I want a big ass, amethyst rock on my wrist. And I want to look like this. That's all ego. And the ego is what creates the persona. This shirt, all my shirts are ego based because I want people to look at my shirts and know I'm a different type of nigga. That's my ego doing that. Because I could walk around in white tees and black tees all day long and not give a fuck what you look at me as. But I do that on purpose because I want to project a certain energy on purpose to make you look at me a different way and to make you assume different things of me. And I'm able to admit that that comes from my ego. A lot of humans can't connect to these things because their ego rules them and makes them reject the admittance of your ego being utilized. There's nothing wrong with the ego. You just can't allow the ego to rule you. The ego is here to be utilized. You just can't allow the ego to rule you. A lot of us get this confused. Oh, I ain't got no ego. You're a dumb motherfucker because every time you walk out your house and you put on a shirt, every time you walk by somebody and you say good morning, or you present a certain mannerism and all these different things that we're taught in society, that's part of your ego. So you'll never hear my ascension say I don't have an ego. I will say my ego is microscopic to my intelligence. Very little vices is number 2. Some of us don't need anything. Some of us don't need a lot. You know what I'm saying? And the more you need, the less you are. That's why the second trait of divinity is needing nothing. Needing nothing. And for the females, for the feminine, because the feminine is everything, that's why she kind of needs everything. But here's the polarity to that. She's supposed to be a creatress. She's supposed to be creating the alternatives to what she needs. She's supposed to be creating and being creative in the things that she makes, that she thinks that she needs. When she sees something she wants to buy, the first thing she should be doing is thinking about the different ways that she can create it. That's the divine side of the feminine. Let's go to number 3. Seeing life in everything. Now, this is what spirituality actually is. Spirituality is not going to a building that has a cross on top that you call a church, or a synagogue, or a mausoleum, or not mausoleum. I forget the word for the Muslim part. A temple. That's not spirituality. Spirituality is knowing for a fact that everything contains vibration and spirit. Spirituality is knowing for a fact that everything is alive. It's a living thing. And once again, I have to go back to the child, because if you notice, the child is so pure and so close to that godness, that centerpiece of universal pure energy, that it walks up to a tree and talks to the tree. The child sees a bug and talks to the bug. The child sees a squirrel and talks to the squirrel. The child sees a plant and talks to the plant. The child will take a piece of twig and go, how you doing, Mr. Twig? How you doing, Mrs. Twig? Oh, I love you. A child will see the life in everything. It's the parent that goes, put that rock down. Put that plant down. Put that flower down. Put that leaf down. That's dirty. That's nasty. That came off the floor. Don't touch that. Don't do this. These are the first blockages that we create in them children's lives. And these are the first stepping stones to create the ego. So number 3 is seeing life in everything. What makes you divine is that you recognize every organism has a life force in it. No matter how insignificant, no matter how small, no matter how our society wants to judge an insect, a roach, a bug, whatever it is. And this is another reason you'll notice certain people, instead of swatting the fly, they try to open a window for the fly to leave. That's divinity. That's divinity. We're not going to say they ain't going to whoop no ass. We're not going to say they don't have the potential to kill somebody, but they realize that the fly is still a living thing, and they realize the fly ain't got nothing against them. The fly didn't have the intentions to ruin your day. The fly is living its own life. So when the fly comes in the room, it's not swinging everywhere trying to swat the fly. The divine one goes, open the window, turn off the lights. Let the fly find its way out. The divine one takes a piece of paper, a newspaper, a book or something, and it scoops the spider up, and then it puts the spider by the window sill so the spider can get out. That's why if you notice, a lot of women, even though they hate rodents and they hate certain things, they get mad at you when you kill it. They go, get it out of here. Don't kill it. That's the divinity in them, because they still recognize that it's a child of them. It's a life force. It's a living thing. That's divine. Number 4, empathy and consideration. You know, I remember a time it didn't matter how gangster you were. It didn't matter how much of a killer you were, because we had some killers in the 90s. We had some killers in the 80s. We had some killers in the 70s. But guess what? They had codes. And their code said, on Sunday, we're not going to get these niggas. We're not going to shoot if they mama's there. We're not going to shoot around their children. We're not going to do this and this and that. We're going to take consideration for family. We're going to take consideration for innocent bystanders. As we notice today, that's gone. Empathy is one of the traits of divinity, because empathy is the evidence of a resonance that goes beyond the physical form. It is the evidence of a resonance that goes beyond the physical form. So anything beyond the physical is closer to divinity than the physical is, because it takes the mental and the spiritual to create matter in the physical. So number 4 is empathy and consideration. Pay attention to those that have consideration. Pay attention to those that think of how someone will take something or how someone will feel about something, even though they can do it anyway and say, fuck you, I can do whatever I want, and blah, and all that dumb shit that we hear today. Watch for those. Because usually those type of people are more connected to understanding as well. They have the potential to seek understanding besides just proving their point through a selfishness and an egotistical ruling. Number 6, 0 superficial. Most people who are close to divinity are very unsuperficial. They're very unsuperficial. And we know that we're in a society that's very superficial. Very superficial. If you don't have the right brand name, if you are not following the right trend or the current narrative, I should have taken this. All right, I'm gonna take this off. It's my damn thing gonna keep doing that. If you are not following the current narrative, the current trend, the current fashion, if you don't have the latest phone, if you don't have the latest technology, then you ain't shit. That's a human ass beast, lower life motherfucker. I don't give a fuck how rich they are. That's a lower level motherfucker. Can have 100 yachts, could own a whole island. I don't give a fuck. You a lower level motherfucker. The lack of superficiality is the evidence of divinity, is a trait of divinity. I don't give a fuck what you're wearing. Are you clean? Are you matching? Are you creative in it? Sundays was a big one. Yeah. Are you creative? That's what I care about. How can you put something together to create an outfit instead of what brand names do you buy? See, this is the thinking that separates the human. Absolutely, brother. We had great respect. And by the way, thank you, brother, because you're bringing up something else. My brother said because of big mama and grandmamas. That's another trait of divinity that's not on this list. The respect for the divine feminine. Peace, brother. Dante, peace, king, knowledge, understanding, noble goddess. The respect of the mothers. The respect of the divine feminine. Let me just add this in here before I go to the next one on the list. If you notice, we were raised and trained and conditioned in a European Christian patriarchal society that teaches us that Eve was evil, that Eve brought sin and the devil, and that the woman was an evil entity. But yet, tell me why. Tell me why, even as slaves, as Christian slaves, Big Mama was still the center of the family. Tell me why to this day, black people are the only group of people that if you talk about our mothers, no matter how shitty of a mother she is, we ready to fight your ass. There's something innate inside of us that knows what the divine feminine is, even if we can't explain it. And we will fight to the death to respect that and to protect that. Of course, today, all of this shit is falling away. All of it is being destroyed. All of it is being reversed. I understand that. But think about being a child. If you over 30, over 25, think about being young. When somebody says some shit about your mama, that was fighting words. Now look at white people. They talk shit about their own mothers. All right? They worship the father more than they worship the mother. We always worship the mother. Always worship the mother above the father. Always. Always. There's no time we didn't. Even at our lowest time of being under European patriarchal rule, we still worship the mother over the father. Big Mama was the glue. She was the center of the entire family. And we knew this. But anyway, good point, JX. Zero superficial. Seeking truth, source, and foundation. I talk about this a lot when I say source over surface. Many humans are seeking the agreement with their ego over the truth of reality, design, energy, function, nature, universal law. Pay attention to those that have the ability to stop themselves and listen to reason, that have the ability to have an argument or a conversation, and they can realize that you can be saying something that makes sense. And instead of attempting to combat what you're saying, or instead of attempting to wait their turn to dismiss what you're saying, they actually listen to what you're saying and try to find the truth in it. Here's the evidence of it. You'll say something to somebody, they'll go, before they go, nah, that's not true. First of all, pay attention to somebody who says something is not true before they investigate it. That's how you know that somebody that's ruled by the ego. If I give you brand new information that you never heard before, and the first thing you say is that's not true, before you investigate what I said, you're ruled by your ego. And you're not one that seeks truth. You don't care about truth. You only care about your own ego and protecting what you believe. There's people that will hear me say something, never heard it before. And instead of going, yo, you got anywhere I could find more of that before I disagree with you? They'll just disagree with you and say it's wrong. And never looked into it. So off the bat, you are showing me that you don't seek truth. You don't seek understanding. And one of the evidence of divinity are those that go to the source. Even if they don't agree with you, even if they don't like what you're saying, they go, you know what, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't like how that sounds. That shit don't sound right to me. But can you point me in a direction where I can find more on it on my own? That's someone seeking truth. That's someone, or they ask you more questions about what you said. So they're seeking understanding. This is traits of intelligence, and intelligence is connected to divinity because there's a divine intelligence in everything in the universe. So that is one of the traits of a divine being, one who seeks the source over the surface, one who recognizes the primordial over the modern. This is the modern way. It's modern day. It's modern time. Shut the fuck up. Because every time you say that modern shit, all you're doing is reiterating European power. Because we had advanced civilizations all over this planet for millions of fucking years. And ain't nobody say this is the modern this and the modern that. It's just what it was. And only in the last 10 years are we talking about accept all this sickness because it's modern times? Fuck out of here. But anyway, I will not digress. So seeking truth, seeking understanding, hearing something you do not like, hearing something you do not agree with, and before you reject it, seeking the source. That's divine. Astral travel and vivid dreams. There are those of us who've had crazy dreams. I have them all the time now. I just had a crazy dream today. I'm not going to talk about it though. But there are those of us who have crazy vivid dreams. There are those of us who can watch ourselves as we sleep. There are those of us who can travel to other places and see certain things. Every time you sleep, regardless, your soul is traveling. And then there's people that say they can't dream. Then there's people that say they can't remember their dreams. So I'm just giving y'all the differentiation to one versus the other. So one trait of divinity is the ability to astral travel, having very vivid dreams, having visions in your dreams, having a desire to understand your dreams. Because some of us have dreams and we just wake up and go, damn, that was a crazy dream. And then we just go about our day. And then you have another side of us that want to understand the dream. We want to understand why this person was there. We want to understand why we were in this place. We want to understand why we saw this animal. We want to understand why we saw this number. We want to understand the dream. That's a trait of divinity. Lack of sleep. Some of us have very erratic sleep patterns. And I was a student of Dr. Delbert Blair. And one thing he used to always say is, the more refined your soul is, the less sleep you need. My sleep is erratic for many different reasons. I love to sleep too. I think all of us could kind of agree. We love rest, but I think I love to sleep because I love to dream. I love my travels. I love the vividness of it. And, they just become more vivid and vivid and vivid and vivid. It's just an amazing, beautiful thing, especially when you're already conscious that you're dreaming in the dream. That's another beautiful thing. But lack of sleep. Sometimes you can sleep for 4 hours and be completely refreshed. Lately, my current manifestation causes me to do a lot more work, a lot more effort. So I will do a lot of doubles, quote unquote, for lack of a better term. And sometimes I sleep for 4 hours and I'm able to stay up 24 hours. So lack of sleep. Or I should probably change that. Instead of saying lack, because lack has a energetic connection to it, meaning you're in loss of something. But no need for sleep. Little need for sleep. That's another trait of divinity. Appetites and addictions. How much do you crave? How much do you crave that blunt? And actually, this is directly connected to another one. This is one in the same, because I said this already about vices and addiction. So it's pretty much one in the same. But ask yourself, how much do you crave? How much do you crave? When you see somebody eating, do you crave food? Do you crave drugs and weed and alcohol constantly? How much do you crave? How big is your appetite? Because the appetite is connected to the beast energy, the beast quality, the lower self. This doesn't mean bad or good. What we want to do is make sure the higher self dominates the lower self. So how much do you crave? And then what do you crave? These things will tell you what side of the polarity of divinity that you're on versus the other. Are you constantly hungry? Peace, Anthony. Peace, King. Knowledge, understanding, noble guidance. Yeah, I haven't been on here in a while, y'all. I've been busy with my manifestation. I asked for some shit. Be careful what you manifest. I asked for some shit and it came full blown. And now I'm knee deep in that shit. And I'm just, so I got some time today. I'll force myself to do this. That's why y'all don't see no good lighting either, because I'm not in the mood for all these goddamn lights. But I told myself I need to finish this video because I didn't do it properly before. I was in my spiritual state, my drunk ass state, and I did not get to the list. I said a bunch of shit, but I didn't get to the list. All right. Appetites. How much do you crave? Are you always hungry? Are you always horny? See, this is the lower self. Now, I want to be clear. Because mind ascension is not no namaste, 100% positive motherfucker. That's some bullshit. We are demons and angels. We are gods and devils. So the key is, are you using the energy of the lower self to channel to reach the higher self? Are you using the root chakra to reach the crown? There's nothing wrong with being horny. But when you're horny and you participate in the stimulation of sensations, Are you having an intention to reach your crown using it? That's what matters. There is no bad or good. There is no bad or good. There is only the efficiency to the energies that you decide to utilize. Yes, peace, God. Knowledge, understanding, noble guidance, brother. Response versus reactions. This is another one on the list. Do you respond or do you react? When someone says something to you that you don't like or that you find offensive, do you respond or do you react? I've heard that it was not common to sleep once for a long period of time, and it's better to sleep in a little of 4 to 5 sessions. Yeah, well, that's why naps are important too. Naps are important. If you study La Isla Africa, he'll tell you all the time how important naps are. So sleeping in increments, you know. Respond versus reaction. Many humans react. No, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. I'm not like that. Many humans react. They don't respond. Responding is hearing something, no matter what it is, negative or positive, hearing something and taking a short time to analyze it and then question why it's being said. And then seeking the explanation or the understanding of its projection or its expression. That's a response. Those who respond versus to reaction, those are usually those who have their emotions under control and who has the power and ability to not be moved by others. Because if you notice, reactors, they can be controlled very easily. All I gotta say is one tiny thing to you and you'll blow the fuck up and you might be in handcuffs in the next hour. It's very easy to control a reactor. Because all I gotta do is say a trigger word to you or a key word to you, and I can have you out of pocket in a second. And you think you're being strong. I don't take no shit, and I'm with the shit, and now you acting like a fucking idiot, and I'm sitting there calm as fuck laughing at you. And now you acting like an idiot, and now you on World Star, and now you're being taped, and you're being recorded on somebody's phone, looking retarded in Walmart. Responding versus reacting. There is no word in this existence that any male or female can say to me to get me out of my character, to get me out of pocket. No word. Curse me out, call me any name you want, call me any father. That's why I love trolls. Anybody that remembers me from Instagram, which I'm all blocked through that motherfucker now, but that's why I love trolls. Because trolls allow me to exercise that power. All right? Lack of ego. That's the next one on the list. The individual who has the ability to notice and to recognize things about themselves without feeling the need to protect a subconscious portrayal or a subconscious expectation, which is where the ego resides. Anybody that corrects me, I welcome correction. And you know why I welcome corrections? Because when you correct me, you're actually adding on to my knowledge now. And a lot of humans can't see this because they don't want to feel corrected because they're trying to protect their ego from admitting that they're wrong. But when you correct me, you add on to my knowledge. A lot of humans don't think about it like that. When you show me more than what I've shown you, you're adding to myself. You're adding to my power. You're adding to my knowledge. The same way as when you're out there talking shit, oh, Mind Ascension, he ain't shit, and Mind Ascension is stupid, and Mind Ascension is this, and Mind Ascension is that. You're deifying me, nigga. You know why? Because I'm on your mind. That's why they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. So even if you're bad talking me out in the world and you're making me a devil is still as powerful. Devil and God are polarities to each other. So yeah, make me the devil. I'll be Lucifer for you. And I will embody that energy and channel that shit into God shit. See, that's the difference. But then you have the human, get my name out your mouth. Don't talk about me. I don't want people talking about me. I don't want people saying things about me. I don't want people. What the fuck is that? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? When I talk about you, I'm adding attention to your image. I'm adding power to your beingness. Negative or positive doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, both of them are polarized energies. Still the same energy. Electricity is not evil. Fire is not evil. Water is not evil. But all three of them could destroy your ass. Because everything that's powerful always has potential for destruction or creation. But we want to get stuck in a box of what's negative, good, bad, evil, and all this dumb human shit, not realizing that I could take all your negativity, absorb all of that shit, and rechannel that bitch. Or I can take it and become a fucking victim. Then I want to be vengeful. Then I start plotting on you. And guess what? The energy you put into me, I put right back into you now. Because now I'm plotting against you. I'm thinking about how to hurt you. I'm thinking about how I could set you up. My whole mind and beingness is focused on you. That's weakness. Those who are divine never allow their ego to rule them. Their ego does not make their decisions. Their intelligence makes their decisions. That is a trait of divinity. Extreme imaginations. Now we got to go right back to the children again. I keep telling you that the child is the closest thing to God. Extreme imagination. I'm just going to share this. There was times when I used to utilize what they call sex magic or whatever. And what I used to do was I used to look at porn, and I would let porn get me started and get me aroused. And then I would shut off the porn, and then I would just imagine everything in my mind. And then I would attempt to make it more vivid and more vivid and more vivid. And then, of course, I would bring myself up to stimulation, rise, hit the crown, bring it back down, and I would do what's called body orbits. Okay, this is a practice I talked about before. This, what you want to call it regeneration, you call it ejaculation, call it whatever you want. But the point I'm making is, sometimes put away the image, put away the movie, put away the porno, and sit there. Women do this a lot. Women do this a lot. That's why they're so magnetized, because they'll sit there and they'll imagine an entire scenario. They'll imagine the entire scenario, or they will recall and bring back a previous experience and relive it in their mind because their imagination is so vivid. That's divinity, because within your imagination is creation. So when you're imagining something in your mind, you're actually creating and gravitizing the event. Depending on how much you focus on it, depending on how fast or consistent, it will come and it will manifest itself. So extreme imagination is a big time evidence of divinity. And if you notice, children are very imaginative until we put a goddamn iPad in their hand and we destroy their imagination. We used to build houses out of cardboard boxes. We used to build forts. We used to make castles. We used to make weapons out of random things. We used to take apart bytes and put bytes back together and all type of shit. Now the motherfucker on an iPad all fucking day, on a goddamn iPhone all day, destroying the imagination. Now everything has to be pre-created for them and given to them as its own creation, which means someone else's intentions and imaginations went into that product that you gave to your child. So it's already infused with another man's imagination and intention. And your child is now absorbing it, instead of being creative within their own mind and expressing their own imagination through their own creations. That's what coloring is, drawing is. That's what playtime was. Emotional instinct. Now, this is connected to the women and the children. A lot of us could walk into a room and sense shit immediately. We don't know what it is. We don't know how to explain it, but we know something's off. And here go the nigga. Well, we just got here. What you talking about? Oh, we can't leave now. I just drove for 2 hours. Yo, we can't. You said you wanted to come here. Getting all mad. A real man gonna listen to his woman. A real man gonna listen to his woman's intuition. All right, babe. You sure? Well, what do you feel? What do you see? What do you feel? How do you feel? Oh, I just don't feel right. Just don't feel that. Da da da. All right, babe. Let me just make my rounds. Say goodbye to everybody. Let me show my face, and then we gonna leave right now. See what I'm saying? Emotional instinct. Feeling things are able to feel someone's pain without them speaking. It's another trait a lot of women have. You can feel someone's stress. You can feel what's dwelling in their mind, which, by the way, this connects to psychic ability. Because the more you practice that emotional instinct, the more you claim it, the more you exercise it, the more you can be connected to telepathy. All these are divine traits. Desire for raw things or raw foods. A lot of us, like me personally, when I go to a restaurant or I go certain places, I kind of get a little mad when the ingredients aren't real or fresh. And then I also kind of get mad because I didn't cook it. And this is another tendency of rawness, because when I cook, those of you who remember my Instagram page and stuff like that, when I would show my meals and stuff, I want the raw shit. I want the raw garlic, the raw pepper, the raw onion, the raw this, the raw that. Chop it up myself. I want to peel it myself. I don't even want the pre-peeled shit. I want to peel it myself. I want to crack it. I want to break it. I want to chop it up myself. See what I'm saying? I desire that. I need that. And that's an evidence of divinity. And then you got other people who just love raw fruits. I'm not one of those. I don't like just biting into apples. That's why I'd rather juice my shit. I'd rather infuse it in water, or I'd rather juice my shit. I don't like biting into cold shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's the masculine or the beast part of me, you know? But yes, the desire for the rawness of things, the desire for the primordial. Because when we're talking about cooking with fresh things, we're talking about the primordial. We're not talking about the primordial. We're talking about the source. You want the source. The only thing more to the source than that is pulling it right out the ground. That's the only thing that you can get closer to. Can't get no closer than that. So it's about desiring raw foods or raw things. Is about going to the source, which is evidence of divinity. Obedient to spirit. Some of us ignore the spirit like a motherfucker. Obedient to spirit. Do you... Now, you can call it intuition. You can call it all these different things. But do you adhere to your subconscious? Do you adhere to what you want to call your conscience? If you want to, you can call it your conscience. Do you adhere to things you can't explain, but you know you feel and you know you hear in your mind? When I did this video the first time, I was obeying the spirit, because what happened was I kept getting all of these little things in my brain about what defines divinity by traits and behavior. And this list kept coming in my head. So I just wrote it down and I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna make a video. I didn't try to understand it. I didn't try to combat it. I didn't try to figure out what was wrong with me. I didn't try to do none of that. I just obeyed the spirit and I just did it. See what I'm saying? Sometimes the spirit will tell you, run outside barefoot, and I don't fucking know. I'll give you a perfect example. Breaking my vegetarian religion. I kept dreaming about chicken, and I don't dream about food. I don't at all. But I kept dreaming about chicken. And you know how I knew I was in a religion? Because when I would wake up from the dream, I would condemn myself. Ew, you ate flesh. It's nasty. And I said, whoa, hold the fuck up. I said, wait a second, nigga. Are you condemning and judging yourself for a dream? I said, fuck that, nigga. Go get you some goddamn chicken, nigga. Now, I'm still plant-based. That still dominates my diet. But guess what? If the spirit tells me go get a motherfucking burger, I'll go get a fucking burger. And a lot of us that have studied master occultists, one of them is Bobby Hemmett. Another one is Brother Panic. When we study occultists don't follow specific diets. They follow the spirit. So if something is giving you such a show, because I was dreaming about chicken for like a week straight, and then finally my ego is like, nigga, what the fuck are you scared of? Like, what are you scared? You scared to break your religion? Are you judging yourself right now? What is stopping you from fulfilling that craving that obviously is in your subconscious or the spirit is giving you? And I'm not even going to tell you what happened when I actually went to a place and finally got there, because I connected with somebody that I ain't seen in a long time, because I went to a place I haven't gone in years, because I never go there because I don't eat that crap. But that's another thing, because sometimes what happens is the spirit will make you crave something that brings you to another location that makes you connect to a new entity, either a new being, either a new deity, or either connecting a bridge to something for a new opportunity. And that's what happened to me. And the spirit is not logical. The spirit is not rational. So you can't overanalyze to ask that question. It's not logical and it's not rational. So you can't overanalyze the spirit. You just have to do the shit. Just do it. And if you can't do it, that's your ego stopping you. That's your ego stopping you. Ew, that's wrong. That's evil. If I put flesh in my body, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, dominant plant-based. Y'all remember when I used to say 80% plant-based, 20% fuck it? Because we don't adopt no religion. And religion is just not about the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah. Religion is anything that regulates and limits you to all the expressions and experiences of the life that you've taken on that make you merge the spiritual with the physical. That's why you're in flesh. You're here to utilize the experiences of pain, utilize the experiences of pleasure, utilize the sensations of the body that connect to the chakra system and connect to the different channels of your body that you call meridians, in order to realize that there is no disconnection between the physical and the spiritual. That's why you have a body, because your body is the conduit allowing you to practice these things and experiment with them. A spirit and a ghost and all that, they can't do the shit that you do. They don't know what hunger is. They don't know what an orgasm is. They don't know how good it feels to take a shit. They don't know none of that. So that's why a lot of spirits will jump on an individual's back to experience those things. We want to call them demons or whatever, but they're trying to experience things that they don't have a physical body to experience. Because all these things are experiences that connect the physical with the spiritual as one. That's why you took on a body. That's why you have very specific concentrations of sensations all over your body in different places. Because a sensation is only the sense to the ion, which is electricity being sent through the meridian channels of your body. And that activates every chakra from down up. That activates that kundalini. That activates that serpentine fire. And so on and so forth. Food is stimulation. All food is stimulation, but also all food is death. One death is slower than the other. So are you obedient to the spirit? If you're dreaming about something, I just had I'm not going to say too much, but I still do my consultations, and an individual I did a consultation, they was expressing to me one of their dreams, and they were just so hurt by the dream, because the dream was taboo, and they were just so, oh God, I'm evil. Why would I dream about it? I'm an evil person. Whatever the fuck. And of course, I did what I do, broke a whole bunch of things down to this individual, and the next thing you know, they embraced the travel. Because the travel was a message. And ever since they embraced the travel, They have built a better connection with another individual in their circle and in their life. And now they have their own specific, I don't want to give too much away, but they have their own specific synergy now that has made them more powerful because they didn't allow the ego to make them feel judgmental over it. Absolutely, religion is slavery. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's slavery like a motherfucker. But we don't want to stick on that. Are you obedient to the spirit? And this doesn't mean do the first thing that pops in your head. The spirit is usually something that's relentless. It's relentless. It's not just one thought. It's not just one idea. It's something that keeps reoccurring, keeps showing you over and over. You keep seeing the same numbers over and over again. You know what I'm saying? You keep seeing the same animal over and over and over again. That means it's time for you to go study the number and do what the number correlates with. Go study the animal and do what the animal correlates with. That's obeying the spirit. Do you obey the spirit? Or do you obey society? Or do you obey standards? Or do you obey ego? Or do you obey judgments? That's the human prison. Speaking of connection to animals, how connected are you to living things? You know, one thing I notice about the average human, especially black people, we run from a lot of shit. We see a dog on the street, we running like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? We see a bug, we ready to kill the hell out of it, you know? Peace, 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 Sioux Tribe. We run from animals. Not understand that animals are the most innocent motherfuckers on this planet. You know why? Because they're ruled by instinct. The only thing they're trying to do is defend themselves. There's no animal on earth that has evil intentions. Even the most vicious predator doesn't have evil intentions. Because guess what? After that predator eats its prey, it'll see its same prey and walk right by it. And don't care because it already fulfilled its hunger. So it doesn't hate its prey. Its prey is just by design its nourishment. So it don't hate, the lion don't hate the zebra. But once the lion's belly is full, the zebra can walk all around the lion and the lion don't give a fuck about the zebra. How connected are you to animals? Are you the type of person that when you see a squirrel come up to you, you start running, you start getting scared, you start talking about rabies, you start talking about diseases, then you start talking about how much shit so why do animals attack humans? Where are humans when animals attack them? Are you in a house when a bear knocks on your door and attacks you? Or are you in the woods in another animal's territory? Not only that, what energy are you giving off when you come across an animal? Oh shit, look, it's a bear, it's a bear. If you notice, most animals will walk right by your ass and mind their business. But you so ready to protect yourself and get scared the same way a dog will know when you're scared. And if you start running instinctively, the dog will chase you. But if you just sit there and go, hey, what up, dog? Dog will look at you and then keep fucking walking. Where are the humans when they're being attacked by animals? Is that the animal driving up to your house? Yeah, I saw that punk ass nigga the other day in the park. I'm gonna go get that nigga. Where are the humans when they're being attacked by animals? They're in the animals' environment. They're in the animal's house. And a lot of time, if you study the environment you're walking in that forest, in those woods, they have cubs back there. All you gotta do is look, and you'll see that there's cubs behind the tree. No animal has evil intentions. Connection to animals. And you know what's so funny? Because I do that a lot. Like, we in the hood, so sometimes you'll see stray dogs and stray pit bulls and shit. Or you'll see people walking big dogs. And the first thing humans do, they start getting real scared and they start running across the street and shit. And the dog looking at you like, motherfucker, I don't give a fuck about you. But automatically, now the dog has an instinct that it smells your fear now. So it reacts to it. It just reacts to it. But there's plenty of times where I'll be out and about. I'll see a dog. I ain't gonna lie. I've always been like this my whole life. I've been a nature person. So I don't know. I just like cats used to follow me home a lot. I love cats too. I love cats. They used to follow me home and stuff like that. And I didn't give them no food or nothing. They just would follow me. And then I just let them in and just let them live their life. You know what I'm saying? But just recently, there was a big ass gray pit bull roaming around my neighborhood. And so my neighbor, who's not here no more, he moved away. But my neighbor was like, yo, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here, yo, there's a big ass dog. I seen the dog because he was across the street. I'm like, wow, y'all niggas over there. He's like, yo, there's a big ass dog in the backyard. Da, 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 da. I went there, looked at the dog, squatted down like this. Dog came right up to me, started licking my hand and all this shit with his stink ass, because dogs be stinking like a motherfucker. I love dogs, but I can't live with a fucking dog. They stink like a motherfucker. But anyway, my point is, the dog seen that I wasn't threatening it, and then the dog also seen that I wasn't scared of it. So immediately the dog came right up to me, started licking my hand. I started scratching his neck and all that shit. Animals do not have evil intentions, man. They don't have evil intentions. Animals are not vengeance. They don't have vendettas. Oh, I'm gonna get that nigga. Animals don't do that. Anyway. Open sexuality and sensations. This is another trait of divinity. Now, unfortunately, we're in a society where we judge things. Everything is a taboo. Everything's a problem. Can someone keep you from connecting with spirit if they believe / push vegan on you? Or no, only your agreement to anything keeps you from something. Your agreement to a curse keeps you cursed. Hear a lot of humans go, generational curse. It's a generational curse. I'm in a generational curse. I just did a consultation like 2 months ago where I was explaining to a woman. I said, first of all, change that word, number one. Because every time you say that, you're saying an affirmation to yourself. Change that word and release yourself from that energy. Because you keep saying you're under a generational curse. Why do you keep saying that to yourself? So to answer your question, your agreement and your participation and whatever that person is doing or whatever that person is projecting is your own imprisonment. Perfect example. Now, I ain't gonna lie. When Kanye said this shit, just like that story of that black girl in Africa who was being chased by men and a pride of lions chased the men. Yes. When I heard Kanye say this shit, it threw me off a little bit, but immediately I had to put aside my ego, because that's when my ego was throwing me off. How dare this nigga say that? That was my ego doing that. Immediately I recognized my ego was there, and I said, oh shit, nigga, get your little ass out of here, bitch ass nigga. Kick that nigga to the side. I said, oh shit, this nigga's right. He says slavery was a choice, right? You know how many of our ancestors chose freedom? And they killed themselves, and they died, and they murdered white people. That was a choice. Just imagine if 80% of those slaves kept choosing that over and over. See, what the problem was is when you're born into slavery, you don't even understand you're a slave. That's the best slave. The best slave is a slave that believes that they're free. So the very first generation of slaves murdered white people, jumped in the ocean. You know, they didn't choose slavery. They choose death. They chose freedom. So in a way, what he said when he said slavery is a choice, I understood what he was saying. Because when you choose the same way all this bullshit going on right now, I'm not going to say the word because we don't give attention to that shit, but y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. This dumbass shit right now. All of y'all walking around like this, looking like fucking idiots. I choose not to. Quit my job and everything. Now I got a brand new job. I chose not to. And guess what? In the brand new job I got, nobody even questions me about none of that shit. I don't have to do any of that. None of that shit exists in the shit I'm doing right now. And it should, because I work around thousands of people. But for some reason, it don't exist for me. It don't exist for me. What you choose to participate in, what you choose to agree upon, and what you choose to believe in is what solidifies your own reality. Once you choose to not agree on it, because even the laws today, they're all agreements. They're all agreements. And they're agreements based on hierarchies and based on superiors that we agree are our superiors. yeah, I know this and this is that and that is this, but I gotta keep this job, so I'm gonna just do what they say. That's an agreement. That's an agreement. Don't blame them because you agreed. That's not you agreed. So the answer is your agreement makes your reality. Your participation makes the power. Once you don't participate, once you don't agree, the power's not there. And then also, how pure and how real is that understanding of what I just said and that intentions? Because a lot of us say a lot of shit and we don't even believe it ourselves. We say a lot of things about ourselves. We say a lot of things to others, but we don't believe it. And we know we don't believe it because our ego is still there going, yeah, whatever, nigga, please take your ass to work, nigga. Shut the fuck up. You ain't doing that shit. You ain't doing this. You ain't that. You ain't this. But yet we project it because the ego wants everybody to think that we are. So we say a lot of good shit. We say a lot of shit that sounds good, but we don't embody it. Same way a lot of men want to seem like they're dominant, but they don't embody dominance. They only project dominance on what they think that dominance is supposed to be. And that's why they usually end up being abusive men, because they're trying to project masculinity instead of embodying masculinity. There's a difference. A lot of us don't know the difference. Whatever you agree upon and participate in becomes your reality. And what you give attention to, you give power to. Simple as that. Open sexuality and sensation. This is a trait of divinity because when we study ancient times, we know that the so-called, anytime, brother, anytime, sister, brother, we know that the so-called whore or prostitute was actually called the consorts of the gods. Now, let's get down to what we're really saying here, because unfortunately, we have this negative European patriarchal connotation that, slut, which means pig, bitch, which means dog, and all these different things that European patriarchy and homosexual culture has played. Because honestly, there's another thing. It's another subject. I'm not going to go there, but women need to understand all the things that you call patriarchal, which came out of Europe, came out of homosexual societies, because it was the homosexual male who placed suppression on the female. No heterosexual man is going to suppress a woman. I don't know why we can't make this connection, because there were patriarchal societies in Africa that didn't suppress their women. The Zulu nation is one of them. Zulus were patriarchal. They didn't suppress their women. So we keep thinking that patriarchy is synonymous and one and the same with oppression of women. No, it's not. It's the homosexuals that suppress the women because they put the priority of themselves and man above woman. That's what homosexuality is. But I'm not going to make this about homosexuality because it's not there. But anyway, women were suppressed in their sexuality because sensuality and sexuality is one of the greatest powers women have. They can make a man kill. They can make a man kill himself based on just the notion, based on just the desire of possessing her body without even having it. Let's just be honest. There's niggas right now that pay hundreds and thousands of dollars just to watch a bitch on a screen. That's some powerful. Men can't do that. That's some powerful shit. Unless I'm a celebrity, you're not going to pay to look at me. If I'm some regular ass nigga with a nice body and shit, women are not going to pay to look at me. They're going to pay. They're going to join my OnlyFans and just pay hundreds of dollars just to stare at me. Yeah, you could pick and choose exceptions, but he has to be a celebrity to reach that level. The most ghettoest, bottom, nothing ass bitch could make an OnlyFans, shake her ass, and niggas will pay her hundreds of dollars. That's power. That's power. We could judge it all we want. We could be judgmental. We call her a whore and do all this dumb shit, but she not touching one soul, and she getting paid for her image alone. For her sensuality, she could be a damn virgin the whole time and you'll never even know. For her sensuality, for her sexuality. And she's getting tribute for it, because that's tribute, that's offering. If you notice, The people who are very open sexually are always open spiritually. Pay attention to what I'm saying. If you got a friend, like here's the markers or the evidence. They'll go, I'll try anything once. That's the person I'm talking about. I don't fuck shit. If that's what she want to do, fuck it, let's give it a shot. That's the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that don't have blockages to their sexuality. They don't have preconceived judgments. They don't have taboos. They're willing to experience a sensation to bring them to another level of understanding what that sensation is. Then after the experience, they will make a conclusion about it. They won't just reject it based on the society and based on the standards and based on the judgments they might receive. They're open sexually. To be open sexually, you have to be open spiritually. This is why orgies was common. This is why all this shit was common. But see, sex is about polarization. So that's exactly why there was no promotion of homosexuality in ancient indigenous tradition. There just wasn't any. It wasn't about hate. It wasn't about none of that. You can't polarize yourself with the same motherfucker. You could stimulate each other, but there's no polarization. There's no exchange. The feminine and masculine is the negative and the positive. So there's a constant exchange. No matter what the fuck y'all are doing, there's a constant exchange going on. Electromagnetism, not electric. So those who are open sexually, and being open sexually doesn't mean you gotta be a hoe. A lot of people confuse that. A lot of humans confuse that too. They think that if you a sexual person that you a slut or you a hoe. You could be a very sexual person and only have sex with 3 people your whole life. But the difference is those 3 people that you had sex with, you experienced everything with them. You tried every position, every sexual stimulation, every kink, every fantasy with that one person. Then you could have somebody who fucks everybody and ain't never experienced nothing. So we got to stop confusing these things as humans. Seeing auras. Now these are higher levels. Some of us can see auras. Some of us just feel auras. But once you reach a certain level, you'll be able to see auras. You'll be able to see auras. You will see the expression. Because remember, vibration creates geometrics. Vibration also creates colors. Frequencies create colors. So when you're able to get past a certain veil, you will see the color that a person's frequency is projecting. All these things are connected to colors and frequencies and so on and so forth. All right? Telepathy. Telepathy is something that we all technically have. A lot of times we shut it down with adopting the European notion of coincidences, with adopting the European notion of being lucky or first time for this or first time for that, and yada, yada, yada. All the dumb things we say to ourselves when we actually experience our telepathy, when we experience our psychic ability, we shut it down immediately. Oh shit, you gonna live forever, son? Yo, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy. Your brain is an electromagnetic antenna. So your brain is a receiver and emitter at the same time. So if you resonate strong enough with someone, you do have the ability to send things back and forth or to receive things from them. It's very simple. It's not something complex or something out of this world. It's simple shit. The same way that your antenna or your car is receiving the radio waves and the frequencies of other channels. I'm sorry, but I have to say this. I don't know why on this live, but everyone is listening to the consultant on YouTube. I'm not going to say his name, but it's so many men that are listening to him. I'm not sure what you're saying. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you talking about me, or are you talking about they're listening to some other person on YouTube at the same time? I'm not sure what you're saying. Yes. Telepathy. The same way that your antenna on your car or that your satellite on your house picks up every radio wave and frequency Your brain has the same exact ability. The problem is we shut these abilities down with the lack of belief in them that we usually get from adopting European mindsets. Oh, that's pseudoscience. Oh, that's sci-fi. Oh, that's fiction. Oh, that's fake. Oh, that's not real. And to be honest with you, they make you shut yourself down so you never reach your highest potential, because once you reach your highest potential, you don't need technology. The highest civilizations did not need technology. And technology is a business. Technology is a dependency that actually keeps you locked down. See what I'm saying? We used to memorize numbers. We used to memorize how to get from one location to the next without GPS. We used to use markings. We used to use landmarks. We used to use so many things with our own mind to master our environments. But now you have technology doing it for you, so therefore you master nothing. And therefore you're not a master anymore. And what's the polarity of a master? What's the opposite of a master? Deep interest in the five sensations. Some of us are very interested in sight, smell, touch, taste. Sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing. We can call this clairvoyance, clairaudience, and all these different things. But these are the original sensations we had at one time, because there's more than five sensations. We had original sensations that were higher than that at one time. We still have them, to be honest with you, but we just don't practice them. So because we don't, and it seemed like they are putting ladies down by the little things they don't do around the house, and it comes off very disrespectful. Okay. So yes, the five sensations. A lot of us are intrigued by our sensations. That is an evidence of you connecting to something divine. When you're intrigued by how your body operates and how it receives signals and how it sends electricity from one neuron to the other neuron, now you're getting to something that's divine, because you're getting into the divine design of your own vessel, to where you begin to master it to such an extent. That's why they tell you when you lose one sense, the other senses enhances. You can enhance all your senses without losing the sense. See, that's the white people thing again. You got to cut something out for something to work. You got to break something to fix something. See what I'm saying? That's the white people shit. But you can raise your sensations without having to lose a sensation. All it takes is consistency and practice. I don't know how many of you have listened to me or how long, but I used to walk the streets with my eyes closed on purpose. And I would just use my foresight, or I would see down the street and I would remember where the next crack was. I remember where the next raising of the sidewalk was. I remember where the stop sign is. I remember where all these things are by just practicing over and over again in my mind. I would walk the streets reading my book and not looking up, and never trip one time. And I remember when I would try to do that on my phone, I'd be tripping all the damn time. That was real funny. Every time I would walk the streets reading my book, I would never trip once. But when I would try to walk the streets looking at my phone, I'd trip all the time. So being intrigued by your sensations, wanting to master the sensations, wanting to understand the sensations, wanting to understand your bodily design, which allows you to do different things, which allows you to feel, which allows you to absorb different things. This is a trait, or this is an evidence of divinity. And eventually it leads to the higher sensations, which once again is clairaudience, clairvoyance, telepathy, telekinesis, so on and so forth. Because we have more than five senses. Now, I'm not going to get into, another thing I get into is what sensation actually is, because technically there is no five senses, but I'm not going to get into that. All right. I'm going to wrap this up because I ain't going to lie. I can't read the bottom. I scribbled at the bottom too much. So I'm going to wrap this up. We well over an hour. I thank those of you that came in here to listen and that came in here and showing support. My regulars who show love and support. I really love y'all. I really appreciate y'all. I really need y'all. You know, as y'all know, Mind Ascension is shut down left and right and all of that. I want to stay consistent. I want to keep being y'all tool and being utilized. Remember, I still do consultations. I still have a cash app for donations. That's $Ascension1. If you would like to send some type of love offering or appreciation, if I said anything you've never heard before, anything that solidified or reiterated what you already felt inside, please don't be hesitant to send some love offerings. $Ascension1. Once again, cash app $Ascension1. If you would like to set up a consultation on anything, whether it's health, spirituality, metaphysics, historical aspects, if you just want a whole bunch of shit that you could go and argue somebody with, if you're having a problem at your job or a coworker and they're saying, show me this, show me that, but you're not sure where to look, or you're not sure where to find the references at, we can do a quick consultations. I can give you references. I can give you all type of things that you can show to other people. Whatever it might be, it doesn't matter what it is, because I touch on everything. I touch on health. I touch on relationships. I touch on your dreams. I touch on metaphysics. I touch on spirituality. I touch on, occultism, witchcraft, whatever it might be. I can give you something that you can utilize and put you in the right direction to expand what your desire is. So the number is 646-575-8305 for consultations or divination. I just did a recent divination and she know who she is. And I told her that she was having a boy and she just hit me back. She said, yeah, it's a boy. But anyway, for divinations and consultations, cube viewings, I do dice divination. For divination and consultation, the number is 646-575-8305. For divination and consultation, the number is 646-575-8305. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for being here. Love y'all. Mind Ascension. I'm out of here.